Real Madrid signed 4 players in the 2025-26 summer transfer window. And as we all know, we are not making any signings in this January transfer window like we always do. It's gonna be boring once again, so I said to myself, why not rate these 4 signings on a basis of, are they a flop? Are they okay? Has it been like, meh, basically, or have they been a good signing? Nonetheless, these are my 3 categories because I don't want to differentiate them too much. But I'm gonna be taking into consideration only what they have done this season for us. Not their potential, not what can they do in the future. You know, I have to be fair, and some of these people, they can be a bit hindered by that, and this is the man, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Unfortunately, yeah, he just has to be a flop so far. Injuries beside, the performances he's put in, they have not been bad at all. But we did pay for that 10 million for him, even though he was a free transfer, because we wanted to keep him, put him into the Club World Cup even before, of course, the normal transfer window started. So we paid 10 million in advance so he could play that competition, which I think is still okay. But we lost that competition, so was it really worth it? And he got injured right at the start of the season. I think he got injured against Marseille in the Champions League. Then he got injured against Bilbao, and then we haven't seen him since. Of course, he's still out with a hamstring injury, as you can see. I mean, so far from what I have seen from him, I said it already, the performances have not been bad. I think he's a sensational player. He's one of the best right backs of all time. Not just now, he's a generational right back. He is basically a playmaker from the right back position. And you do have to ask yourself this one question though. Did he really come to fit Real Madrid? Or did he really come just to fit Xabi Alonso's way of playing? Because if we look at Xabi Alonso's fullbacks, they always had something to them. And he was the mold kind of similar to Grimaldo, you know? Grimaldo was that technical one, and on the other side, there was Frimpong bombing down the side in that Leverkusen side, which they won everything in that Bundesliga season, you know? They won Invincible, and it worked out. And I do think Carreras was more supposed to be that defensive one for Xabi Alonso, and Trent was going to be that, you know, that wing-back, full-back type of vibe in this Madrid side. But of course, as we know, Xabi Alonso is not here. And Arbeloa, is he going to use him? I don't know. And it's a really bad look on him, because even the last few years at Liverpool, he had some big injury issues. But this is the worst season I have seen from him in terms of injuries. Because I think he played around 10 games for us. 8 matches. Oh my goodness, it's even less. 8 matches. Once again, I'm saying these games, for example, Elche, Girona, Bilbao, especially Bilbao, he was really good. He was really good. When he played on the pitch, he was really performing. But once again, he gets injured, and he just doesn't have too much to go off. And 8 games when we are approaching Champions League knockout playoffs, and we are in the 5th of February, it's just too less. It's just, yeah, he has to be a flop. Even the fact we paid 10 million for him in advance just to be knocked out by PSG in that Club World Cup in the semi-final. I mean, yeah, particularly not based on performances, but if I have to rate him on this season alone, the injuries put him into that flop category, unfortunately. Next up is gonna be the man. Actually, the most expensive signing we made this year, basically, or this summer transfer window, which is Dean Huijsen. He cost us 62.5 million euros, in my opinion. Was it that? Yeah, 62, something around that. Now, this is the same, but without the injuries. He made us believe, yeah? Xabi Alonso came in, Dean Huijsen came in. They made us believe. Club World Cup. Kinda good, you know? Kinda great on the ball. He's playing out of the back. He's not making too many rash decisions or defensive mistakes. He's so composed. He's so relaxed. He doesn't seem to care what is going on around him. He just plays his game. And then La Liga. He fooled us for the first 9. Because I think the 10th game was that Atletico Madrid game. And from that point, when Dean Huijsen got mauled by Sorloth in that Madrid derby, it has been long. I'm not gonna lie. It really has been long for him. Because he just can't seem to really get going after that point. He had some minor injuries for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But he just can't seem to get it going. Defensively, he's always lacking. His space seems to be a really bad issue when Militao is not next to him, which you could see when Asensio and Huijsen is playing. There is just not enough experience. Dean Huijsen needs somebody like Senesi that he had in Bournemouth last season. Somebody more experienced, somebody older next to him that can, cover for him, that can be that voice in the back line, which we don't have right now. When he's playing next to Asensio, in my opinion, actually looks better than Dean Huijsen. Now, Dean Huijsen is, of course, only 20 years old. He is expected to be in that higher level in many, many years to come, He's the player for the future. But once again, if I have to rate it on this season alone, he has to be a flop, in my opinion. Maybe I'm being too harsh, but what has he really shown me, apart from maybe 10, 12 games at the Club World Cup and in the first, month or two in the La Liga, that really proves me wrong that he's not a flop so far. I don't think he will be a flop in the next months, years to come, because I do think his talent is really, really up there with the center backs that are currently playing in world football right now. I think he's top 5 in talent, maybe in top 3 in terms of, future prospects. But he has played 16 matches. He has started 15. He got that red card, which was Fugazi red card as well, against that Real Sociedad side. 3 yellows. I don't see it, And you could see his overall rating and blah, 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 blah. That's because he is a really good passer and he is really good when it comes to having the ball at his feet. But when it comes to actually defending, he really does remind me of a lower level Ramos, yeah? Shit Ramos, that's what Huijsen is right now. He's not that defensively good, everything on the ball, he's great, but he's just not there. That's like Ramos when he was 12, bruv. That's how he looks like. He's too skinny. He has to get better in physical, physical battles. And for how tall he is it here? 195 centimeters, which is 6'3", 6'4". Oh my goodness, he is so bad at the aerial duels, at scoring headers. I think he scored 1 header, maybe, and that's his only goal, right? And even the assist was a head, but that's expected from you. You should be getting more in that. And our set pieces, I'm not gonna lie, don't help Huijsen at all. But defensively, corners, Dean Huijsen has to be doing better. I think he will develop way, way past his level that this season that he's been showing, because I think already he has shown that he can play in the top level like he did for Bournemouth. It's just a matter of time. So I'm gonna give him, for this season so far, that he's been in that flop to mid region, just above flop, I would say. Just above flop, to not be that harsh on him. Now Carreras, I'm gonna say, even though he had a bit of a tough period after that Atletico Madrid game where it happened the same for him as Dean Huijsen actually, I'm gonna say, for 45 million, left back, for his stature, being good on the ball, attacking wise, defensively as well, I think he is a really good signing. He is a really, really good signing for this Madrid team. Because let's be honest, that left back pool is a lot shorter than people think. The top left backs are either signed to clubs that will never let them go. I'm talking about Alphonso Davies, who wants to stay at Bayern. Nuno Mendes. Now Cucurella. Who else would you say is really at the top level? You can maybe say Calafiori, but he's always injured. I would say the top 2 currently in the world right now, Nuno Mendes, Alphonso Davies, Cucurella. Maybe I'm missing someone. Maybe I'm bugging, like Di Marco was there, but wingbacks, most of them are wingbacks. The best left backs in the world. And Carreras, I'm not saying he's up there yet, but he can definitely get up there. And only for 45 million, he has shown us that he can be a starter in this team for many years to come. Now, he has that, I would say, the perfect syndrome, of a young player. One game, you're perfect. Next game, you're ass. And that's normal. I'm gonna say it's normal. It's better to have than 5 game stretch of being shit and then 5 game stretch of being good. I would much rather be, consistent in that. And I do think his better games overall are overshadowing the bad games. When I think of bad performances, I think in that Liverpool game, he was actually kind of good. But before that, you know, Atletico Madrid, was he really that great? In some smaller games, he sometimes is a bit too lenient, you know, on the ball. He keeps too much on the ball, the time on the ball. Just if he polishes that game of his side, you know, being a bit more in the game, being a bit more focused mentally in the game, and I do think defensively he can do some work back as well. I think he could be up there, top 3 right backs in the world. I think he has shown us that for 45 million, he is a really, really good signing. He has played 19 games, 18 started. And that goal, by the way, that he scored, still to this day, hey, fairs. I didn't know you had that in you, bro. I didn't know you had that in you. That red card, of course, unfortunate. I still think it was a bit, for talking to the referee, I mean, come on, man. But he has shown us that he can do it. My only thing is with him, keep the consistency running for a bit more. As I'm saying, he just has a bit of a tough run, then he gets back into it. When he performs his game and polishes his game, when he's of course older, once again only being 22 years old, he could be one of the best fullbacks in the world in maybe 2 years. I would say he's not that far off. It's just about getting that mentality right and polishing his game, as I said before. I'm going to say really good signing. Now, the last signing I want to talk about, of course, is Franco Eminem Slim Shady Mastantuono. He signed for us for, I think, 45 million. It was him. Maybe he was 45 and Carreras was 50. You can maybe correct me in the comments. But it doesn't really matter. It's a 5 million difference. Franco was signed, of course, to be, I think, first of all, backup as a 10, and then maybe a starter at the right wing, you know, if things go wrong with Rodrigo, but Rodrigo stayed. I think that really, like, put down Franco's chances of starting, but he did start at this, like, when he came in, he was starting, guys. In La Liga, he was getting those chances, but people were saying, why is he starting over Rodrigo? He wasn't showing us anything. His finishing is, oh my god. That finishing in those first 10 La Liga games. I think Franco got injured as well after that. He didn't really get too many chances, you know, after, of course, Xabi Alonso was sacked. But now he's getting back into the team. And he was really playing well, for example, against Monaco. And some games, his finishing is actually on a good level. He runs like a dog. He has an engine. He helps the team. But it's the ability to actually finish chances and actually be a right winger. That's why I always say, in my opinion, Franco is more of the right mid kind of player that is like a 10 center mid, right mid. Those guys that like in here, not that top right winger player. For me, he's more like Di Maria. He's on that technical side. His finishing is nowhere near Di Maria, but he's, you know, technical. He has grit. He is really good at tracking back. He defends. He fights for the team. That's exactly what you want from Franco. He's a young blood. He's there. He wants to fight. But if he is supposed to be our right winger, his output needs to be better, and his ability to beat players actually as well needs to be better. Yeah, sometimes his final pass, that final, you know, shot, final finish is just not there. That's my only thing with Franco. And sometimes when I watch him, of course, he is a bit frustrating. I'm not gonna lie. He's a bit frustrating because I know how good technically he is, but it's just inconsistent. Once again, we are talking about really, really young players. He is the youngest player that we signed, 18 years of age. This brother is 3 years younger than me now. 3 years. Okay, so give him time. In my opinion, he's still a really, really good signing. I'm gonna be honest. Maybe some of you may be like, what? Really good signing? I just think in the future, he can be a really good addition. And if he goes out on loan, we are gonna see once again that he is in that same kind of mold as Endrick. I think if these players get their chances and they get a consistent run of games in the position they actually want to play, yeah, he's, in my opinion, not a full-out right winger. Maybe if he interchanges with Arda Güler, which seemed to have worked in the UCL, for example, I can see him being a starter at Real Madrid. That's once again, if he polishes that finishing. If he gets back to his, best level and he's actually tracking back. I don't want to see him get the finishing down, get the chance creation down, and flipping the assists and beating players, and then he stops tracking back. No. I need to see everything from him like this. Not on the top level, at his age, of course. But I want to see better from him in these things. But also, keep the tracking back. Because it shows. When Franco Mastantuono is on the pitch, Real Madrid statistically have more ball percentage. Have basically kept the ball more. That's what I'm trying to say. Of course, once again, injury somehow, and some of the games he has been atrocious, especially in the finishing. 14 matches, 9 started. I'm gonna say really good signing. But if you continue like this, when you get back into the team and you start doing well, but then you fall off suddenly once again, I'm gonna say it's gonna go. The rating is gonna go down. Slowly but surely, it's gonna go down. Next season, you're still okay, but the season after that, you know, I want to see more. You're gonna be 20 years old at that point, but I'm expecting a lot from Franco Mastantuono if he can polish those things in his game. I think this is a really underrated signing, in my opinion. Now, those were the 4 signings that I think will be good someday for Real Madrid, but so far, they have been, I think, a bit of a 50-50 window, in my opinion, especially with the Trent and Huijsen injuries, you know, and them not performing that well. Then Carreras actually getting the form back up, and Franco, once again, being the 50-50 in that range of okay signing to good signing, in my opinion. So let me know what you think about these signings yourself. You can rate them actually 1 out of 10. It doesn't take too much time. Go in the comments and rate every signing 1 out of 10. And maybe, you know what? Maybe say who should have been actually a Real Madrid signing instead of these 4 players. You can let me know down below as well. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.